now we were coming to the economic underpinnings and of the development model. And we would like to know the terms of, can we shed some light on the fiscal policy, the role of the developer as a unique phenomena in the case of the model, and the role of an infrastructure.
Yeah. The developer, is that how do you understand that, as the government as a developer?
The developer model, in which when the government actually initiates the project, and then of course the yes.
I mean, it's a very potent strategy, and very much a part of this developmental state paradigm, that the government can initiate things. And I think what is unique to Dubai is that all the way down to Sheikh Rashid, there has been, in order for the system not to be sort of state-owned and where that could lead to less efficiency, there's always been this competition element, like Port Rashid and Port Jebel Ali had two different managers in over a lot of years, simply because they wanted to keep up competition. And I think the idea that that you have Dubai Holding and Dubai World, it's called, that they compete every day, basically. So you have EMAR is actually competing against other state-backed property development firms. So I think this type of competition, provide the possibility of things being efficient, even though it is publicly owned, because that is a problem normally. But the state being a developer is a super thing when the state have money, or can have access to money by lending. In this way, the state can concentrate resources and say, we're going to do this and this and this, and employ some good people to carry it out. Like, as far as I've interviewed people at the Dubai Dry Dock. It was built, at a time where Dubai thought, well, we need sort of dry dock facilities, and very quickly was built so it would compete directly against shipyards in Singapore and so on. And that, it runs as a private business internally, but it is state-owned, and that is something unique, I think, to Dubai, and maybe to the Gulf, but certainly to Dubai, that you can start, or you can initiate a governmental activity, economic, and then basically say, well, it can fall. If it doesn't survive, it will fall. So the role as a developer means that government can create a lot of jobs, can create an economic asset, which can be of strategical importance. For instance, not the dry dock, but this time Emirates Airlines, 85, we need an airline, who built it, and it has a lot of influence on the other activities of Dubai, right? Where you say that tourism has become really a big thing, having their own carrier, you have Maktoum Airport and the old one. So building a aviational hub demanded that government went in and took a chance, took a risk, as no private company would have done. Complicated.
But very interesting, Professor Martin. This brings us to to another vertical, which is important and was and probably is going to be critical and important for the model. Can you shed light on the foreign acquisition and investment in the economic origins of the Dubai model? What is its current state, and what its shortcomings, and what is actually the way forward? Since we are in the age of investment and
yes.
acquisition.
I use the foreign acquisitions sort of in the model. I mean, because for a good number of years, I mean, you've done foreign acquisitions for two reasons. One is to bolster, to make your own businesses better, and one is to invest money you don't have a use for right now, right? And the first thing, the prime example I know was that Dubai Ports, DP World, which now runs the harbors or the ports in the Emirates, and manages ports. They bought in 2006 the P&O Peninsula and Oriental Steam Navigation Company. It was called Old British firm, right? And with that purchase, they bought the management of 54 ports worldwide. That we all remember because there was an issue with a couple of ports in US where, you know, US didn't want UAE to own ports on US soil, but basically it was an acquisition that provided Dubai with a world-spanning network of ports, port operations that would all feed into a larger strategy of making Jebel Ali this hub port and so on, and which is from all what I know, a very profitable business at the moment. So this way, this acquisition was done in order to expand on the income-generating activities of Dubai. There's a number of other, and the same thing can be said for free zones and so on. But other external acquisitions has been to place money outside UAE, right? For all Gulf countries is that they are capital rich, and if you cannot, I mean, there's not much sense for a country with a small population to build industries within the country, because you would mainly have to import all the workforce. So unless you obviously can make good money of it, it's actually a better idea to take the money, invest it in Mercedes-Benz or Daimler-Benz or Ferrari or profitable firms, well-established firms in the West, right? And Dubai has done that. I haven't followed it for the last half year, but Harrods and up and down, a lot of investments has been going outside, basically as in investments in order to secure money, right? And you could say, if you want a return on your money, you can either build a factory in your own country, or you can purchase a factory in a foreign country. I mean, at the end of the day, you still get money from it. I mean, if the firm is run good and so on. Yep.
Very good, Professor Martin. Now, the next question might be a repetition, but we might as well shed light on it, or revise it, or revisit it. And the question is, how did the private sector and the state-initiated firms contribute to the Dubai model of development, and how the competitive edge was maintained?
The private sector. I mean, I think, yeah, the private sector. I mean, we have the yeah, as you say, the state owning things and being a part of also of activities, you know, public-private investments and so on. So you could say that, and maybe I get some, you know, into problem here, but you could say that from an early date, especially with the money and in the old time, the money flowing in from the British to the government in each emirate, that the private sector to some extent became quite dependent on the public sector, right? Because the public sector is the sector that spends a lot of money, right? And because you are a big spender, you also determine conditions in one way in the market, right? So let's say you were building a new Palm Island, and you would establish 100 new villas, right? It is important who gets the contract to build them. It's important who gets the contract to deliver the paint, right? And so on. And that means that everything needed to build this project, which is built in the beginning by public funds, it directs who will make the money in society, right? So in this way, private sector, even though it's private, it's still, you know, as long as it operates in the domestic market, it's very, 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 very dependent on what government decides to spend their money on.
But these are via competitive bidding, the apps.
Yes. I believe it's more and more and over a certain level. But we also know that there's a strategy where you don't have, like, maybe for paint, you probably have, 10, 15 large suppliers who can, actually compete. But in other sectors, you might not have very many firms competing against each other because of an old structure where, someone get all the Toyota things and someone get all the, Chevys and so on. So maybe the market is not perfect. That's what I say. I think you're well on the way, but the market is not perfect. And because the economy is so small, and that's again my point, being very small means that there's fewer who can be competing of the same jobs or the same, supplying the same things, and therefore competition is to some extent stifled.